going on YouTube? This is the Boxing Theorist, and I'm back with another one. Today I'm here to talk about Fury versus Whyte that's happening this Saturday, April 30th. I think that's going to be a good fight, and I believe that both fighters are going to bring their A game. Dillian Whyte has been in off and on in his career for the past few years. 2019, he had two fights, and he had a fight, two fights. He had a fight in 2020 against Povetkin, which he lost by KO, and he came back in 2021 and had a fight. I think they were supposed to have the rematch. Him and Povetkin was supposed to have a rematch a lot sooner, but COVID, I think one of those guys, I think it was Dillian Whyte that ended up getting COVID. Or was it Povetkin? I don't know. I think both of them did. I mean, whatever. That fight didn't happen, so they had to push back the date. And in 2021, March, I think of 2021, Dillian Whyte, him and Dillian Whyte got it on where Dillian Whyte ended up KOing Povetkin, so he got it back in blood, his KO back. So that was a good fight for Dillian Whyte. It let the fans know that he was, that he didn't let off the gas. You know what I'm saying? Dillian Whyte is a good fighter. And let's break it down. Let's get into the advantages of Dillian Whyte and disadvantages. I feel as though Dillian Whyte has a good jab. He has a good jab, and he doubles it up, triples it up to work his way in and get right back on the outside. All right. Dillian Whyte has a good 1-2 as well. He loves to throw the 1 and the 2, or the 1-1 and the 2, which I just mentioned. He doubles up his jab, and then he likes to throw his right hand right after. And he has a high success rate as far as landing that. They don't call him the body snatcher for no reason. You know what I'm saying? He goes to the body, and when at time, now I know within the past few fights that I've seen from watching film on him for this video, Dillian Whyte, the past few fights hasn't really been invested into the body, but I think that has a lot to do with the fact that he really didn't have to. He was able to get away with that with those guys because, after all, he has a good jab, and we all know that the jab can temporarily stun or create a diversion for you to land whatever combination behind that. As I've said time and time again, and as every analyst says. So, it can set up your offense, and that's what Dillian Whyte is great at. He's great at establishing and his offense, imposing whatever words you want to use. He's great at that. You know what I'm saying? He's a great initiator. He can initiate offense, and he doesn't wait. He takes charge. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man. That's pretty much all I got to say as far as the advantages. You know what I mean? Let's get into his disadvantages. And another advantage is that, and bear with me, I'm going back and forth, but that's because I'm live. You know what I'm saying? I don't cut anything, so just bear with me. Another advantage is that Dillian Whyte has pretty good defense. He doesn't move his head well, but he makes up for that lack of head movement for catching shots. He can catch and shoot well, all right? And he has, for his style, he has good footwork, not the best, he has decent footwork. He can fight on his back pedal, and he can fight going forward, keeping the fight, and he's good at fighting in the middle of the ring, When he has to stand there with you, he'll do that. He takes a lot of half steps back using lateral movement. He can move laterally. Disadvantages. He doesn't necessarily move his head well. He tends to keep his head on the center line, but as I've just explained, not every boxer is fluid in that manner. Not every boxer is Tyson Fury. You know what I'm saying? Or Gervonta Davis, or Floyd Mayweather, or Devin Haney, Caleb Plant, whoever you want to insert there, Canelo Alvarez. Some guys aren't that agile. And Dillian Whyte tends to keep his head on the center line, but he makes up for it with blocking, you know what I'm saying, and parrying shots. So he's good at parrying. That's another thing. Um, he doesn't move his head well. He tends to throw wide punches, where he's susceptible to leaving himself out there. And I'm gonna insert that clip right here, just to give y'all an example of what I'm talking about. Um, he tends to throw his punches wide, hooks. You know what I'm saying? He throws this overhand right that is sloppy. You know what I'm saying? And especially, like, I've seen tape where he would stun a guy, stagger him, and he'll start getting wide. He'll wild. He'll throw wide punches, which to me, I mean, if you got the guy staggered, you could get away with that. But don't do that against a guy like Tyson Fury, a guy who can see those type of shots coming a mile away. Dillian Whyte can also get caught at times. That leads to my next point. He can get caught because he doesn't move his head. And because he stands right in front of you, he doesn't necessarily take steps back to get out of range to play it safe. He stands in front of you and he blocks, but, you know, that's using a high guard defense, but, you know, that could be penetrated if you're throwing combinations and if he's not looking to try to time you in between your shots being the opponent. So that's what I got to say about Dillian Whyte. You know what I'm saying? Those are some advantages and disadvantages of his. Let's get into Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury is a phenomenal fighter as well. He's one of the great fighters in the sport, if you ask me. Top 5 favorite of mine. Tyson Fury's, his advantages and disadvantages. His advantages are that he has a good jab and he uses it effectively, just like Dillian Whyte. You know what I mean? Fury has fast hands. He has good reflexes for his size. He can move so fluidly for a 6'9", 250-plus guy. You know? He slimmed down for this fight. They said he was only 11 pounds over at the weigh-in. Man, they said that's the least he's ever weighed in the professional ranks, you know, as far as professional boxing. So that's going to be interesting. I believe that that's for a legitimate reason. I believe there's a legitimate purpose behind him slimming down because he's never done that before. His fights with Wilder were epic. That trilogy that they had, epic. You know what I mean? Wilder, the first fight was competitive. Actually, to me, I felt like Fury won. All right, I'm gonna put that out there. Fury won the first fight, if you ask me. I guess they wanted to give it a draw because of the knockdown that Wilder's knockdowns, but I don't think that was enough to equal up to a draw. But that's just my opinion. Second fight, Tyson Fury mopped the floor with Wilder. It was brutal, and he looked good. I know they said there were claims that he cheated. Me personally, I'm not one of those guys who believe that Fury cheated. Like Showbiz the Adult said, I'm just not a guy. You need to give me full proof because there are a lot of conspiracies going around in the world today, and you know, I need proof of the fact that he cheated. And there was none. You know, it's only still speculation. That's just my opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? But moving on. The third fight, great fight. The best fight out of all of them. Back and forth action. Wilder ended up knocking Fury down twice in one round. Fury, once again, you know, he showcased skill, and Wilder was trying to box with Fury, but that's not Wilder's natural style. You know, everybody has a style that suits them best, and if they don't stick to that style, if they're not balanced, especially if they don't stick to that style that they're used to using, they can gas out. You know what I'm saying? Like, for instance, here's an example of what I mean. Wilder was trying to be a boxer puncher, right? But he ended up gassing out faster because of the fact that his body's not used to his body is not used to he doesn't have the stamina level to sustain throwing a lot of combinations. And I believe that had a lot to do with the fact that he gassed out. That just wasn't his natural style, all right, to be a boxer puncher. He's a guy that likes to that likes to, find that perfect opportunity to land that big bomb, that bomb right hand of his. He's a sniper. He's not a combination type of puncher, and it's always worked. And he was actually able to land on Fury, which is why I believe that if Wilder can, not use a jab as consistently and can find the right range and can actually land on Fury, I believe that Dillian Whyte can do that as well. He's just going to have to use his jab even more. You know what I'm saying? Just use your jab to set up whatever combination you need to throw behind that shot. So, yeah, man. I mean, Fury can do it all. He can roll shots. He can catch shots. He can move his head fluidly and swift. You know what I'm saying? Phenomenal fighter. Love him to death. What will be the key? Here's another thing. The disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that Fury can get caught at. Actually, what do I believe will be the game plan? It's interesting because we all know Fury is a balanced fighter, so we don't know what version of Fury we'll get. He switches it up, fight to fight. And Fury, in this fight, I believe that Fury's best. I believe that it would be smart for Fury to look to try to outbox Dillian Whyte due to the fact that Dillian Whyte has a slower feet. Stay on the outside and, keep it from the outside, keep it from the mid-range to the outside, and don't get inside with Dillian Whyte where he can tag you with those body shots. Use your jab, keep a consistent jab on him. Dillian Whyte, I believe it would be smart for Fury to have Dillian Whyte come to him rather than him coming to Dillian Whyte, where Dillian Whyte can sneak in those 1-2s, and that jab and that uppercut that he likes to throw occasionally throughout the fight to catch you slipping, which he has a nice uppercut as well. He hurt some of his opponents with that uppercut, that combo that I just explained, that jab, and then he'll throw an uppercut right behind it. He hurt a few people with that. So that was phenomenal. That's a good combination coming from him to sneak that in there. I believe that Dillian Whyte is going to have to. Like I said, there's a reason why Fury slimmed down to be 11 pounds over the weight limit, which is the lowest he's ever been. There's a reason for that, because I believe that he's going to try to be light on his feet and fluid. You know what I'm saying? I believe that he's going to use the ring and he's going to pop shot Dillian Whyte from the outside. I believe that Dillian Whyte's going to have to cut the ring off on Fury and implement, going to his body. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to invest in his body. Wilder had some success going to Tyson Fury's body in that third fight, and that actually slowed Fury down a little bit, which may have had to do with him catching him twice in that one round. Fury was getting tired at the end of the day, but he was able to break through that. He broke through that wall, whereas Wilder couldn't do it because that just wasn't his natural style to fight. He gassed out early because of he was trying to, do something that his body wasn't used to, which is, his stamina's not geared for that, So, fighting on his back foot, and which is another thing, that was a disadvantage for Wilder. If you can force Wilder on his back foot, that can actually, work in your favor. So, yeah, I believe that Dillian Whyte is going to have to use his jab to work his way in, and he's going to have to try to catch Fury because Fury is going to be light on his feet, and I believe that he's going to be on his back foot. I believe that he's going to. I got Fury winning, if you ask me. Um, Dillian Whyte throws his shots. His shots can come off a little slow. And like I've said before, the fact that he loads up his shots, telegraphing, I believe that telegraphing those shots. I believe that Fury is going to see those punches coming a mile away unless Dillian Whyte happens to catch Fury with a double jab, which will, blind him temporarily, create like a blind spot, blind side, whatever you want to call it, where Dillian Whyte can land that straight right or an uppercut or a hook, whatever he likes to throw. That's going to be his best bet. I believe that Fury should control him from the outside, though. Don't fight Dillian Whyte's fight. Don't give him what he needs. Don't make it easy for him to land shots on you. Make it difficult. Do the opposite. Be the opposite of where he wants to be. So if he wants to be on the inside, keep your ass on the outside. All right. And even if Dillian Whyte were to go backwards, I mean, like I've said before, it could work for him. I mean, it worked for him in the past where he had guys come to him and he was able to get his shots off because he jabs, So, we'll see. You know what I mean? Me personally, I believe that Tyson Fury should have Dillian Whyte come to him and he'll have greater success. And even if Tyson Fury were to have to come to Dillian Whyte, I believe Tyson Fury has the skill set to catch him slipping. So, and pop shot him still, from the mid-range or from the outside. So that's all I have to say, y'all. You know what I'm saying? Please like, share, and subscribe. I have Fury winning. I would like to know who you guys have winning tomorrow. And, yeah, that's all I got to say. Comment below what you guys think. All right, love y'all. Stay safe. Peace.